had always been a passionate traveler. She had explored dozens of countries across the globe, driven by an unquenchable curiosity for new cultures and unforgettable experiences. Yet one dream had lived in her heart for years above all others: Africa. The continent's mystery, raw beauty, and untamed wilderness had always called to her. After years of planning, Marta finally decided it was time. She prepared carefully, reading books about African wildlife, cultures, and traditions. She received all the necessary vaccinations, bought specialized safari clothing, and chose an exotic tour that would take her through several countries of East Africa, Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda. When her plane landed at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport in Nairobi, the capital of Kenya, Marta felt a rush of excitement mixed with nervous anticipation. It was her first time in Africa, and she didn't quite know what to expect. As soon as she stepped outside, the heat and humidity wrapped around her like a heavy blanket. She was greeted by her guide, David, a tall Kenyan man with a warm smile and attentive eyes. With over 15 years of experience in the tourism industry, David welcomed Marta kindly and helped her with her luggage. On the way to the hotel, he shared stories about Nairobi's history and culture, explaining that the city's name came from the Maasai phrase Enkari Nairobi, meaning, the place of cool waters. Marta was impressed by his deep knowledge and his gift for storytelling. That first night in Nairobi, Marta woke to strange noises outside her hotel window. When she looked out, she saw a group of baboons rummaging through garbage bins. One of them noticed her and bared its teeth menacingly. Marta quickly shut the window, her heart racing. The moment reminded her that she was truly on the edge of the wild. The next day, the real adventure began. Marta and a small group of tourists set off in a jeep toward the Masai Mara National Reserve, one of Africa's most famous wildlife sanctuaries. Along the way, they passed small villages where Marta observed everyday life. Brightly colored traditional clothing, smiling faces, and children waving enthusiastically at the passing jeep. When they entered the reserve, a breathtaking panorama unfolded before her eyes. Endless golden savannah stretched to the horizon, grasses swaying gently in the wind. In the distance, herds of wild animals moved like living patterns across the land. David explained that they had arrived during the Great Migration, the annual journey of millions of animals across the Masai Mara in search of fresh grass and water. Suddenly, David slammed on the brakes. A herd of wildebeest was crossing the road right in front of them, panic visible in their movements. Moments later, the reason became clear: 3 hyenas were in pursuit. Marta watched in horror as the predators caught a young wildebeest that had fallen behind. Unable to bear the sight, she turned away. David gently explained that this was part of the natural cycle and that hyenas played an essential role in the ecosystem. Throughout the day, Marta witnessed scenes she had only seen in documentaries: zebras and wildebeest grazing peacefully, giraffes gracefully reaching for acacia leaves, and elephants bathing in a small lake, spraying water with their trunks. David spoke of the elephants' complex social structures and remarkable memories, explaining that they could recognize one another even after many years apart. Marta listened in awe. On the second day of the safari, the group set out in search of rarer animals. David skillfully navigated narrow trails, explaining the landscape and animal behavior. Suddenly, he stopped and pointed toward thick bushes. Almost invisible due to perfect camouflage lay a leopard. Marta held her breath as she watched the magnificent creature stretch lazily across a tree branch, seemingly indifferent to their presence. David noted that leopards were among the most elusive big cats, and seeing one in the wild was a rare privilege. As evening approached, the group gathered on a scenic hill to watch the sunset. David explained that the place was called Maasai Korpia, named for its distinctive shape. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the sky exploded into shades of orange and purple. Marta felt she was witnessing one of the most beautiful sunsets of her life. She took out her camera, trying to capture the magic of the moment. That night at the camp, sleep came slowly. Marta stepped outside her tent and froze in wonder. The sky was filled with millions of stars, brighter and closer than she had ever seen in the city. The Milky Way stretched across the heavens like a silver river. Suddenly, the silence was broken by the distant roar of a lion. Marta shivered, but she wasn't afraid. She felt like a tiny part of something vast and ancient. On the third day, an unexpected incident occurred. While the group was observing a pride of lions, the jeep suddenly stalled. David tried to restart the engine, but it failed. He calmly explained that there was likely a fuel pump issue and that they would need to wait for assistance. The situation was tense, the lions were only a few hundred meters away. David reassured everyone, explaining that lions usually saw vehicles as large, inanimate objects. Still, he asked everyone to remain seated and avoid sudden movements. Marta's heart pounded as she watched the predators lounging in the shade, cubs playfully wrestling nearby. One lion, the largest male, clearly the leader of the pride, became curious. He slowly approached the jeep, sniffing the air. Marta held her breath as the lion circled the vehicle, occasionally stopping to stare directly inside. His amber eyes seemed to look straight into her soul. Fear and awe washed over her. Finally, the lion lost interest and returned to the pride. Marta exhaled, realizing she had been holding her breath the entire time. Later, technical assistance arrived, and the journey continued. Yet the encounter left a deep mark on Marta's heart. The following day, the group went on a guided walking safari, accompanied by armed rangers. Mesmerized by a rare wildflower, Marta stopped to take photos and accidentally fell behind. She didn't notice how far the group had gone until she was completely alone. Panic surged through her. The savannah looked endless and uniform. The sun burned overhead, and exhaustion and thirst quickly set in. Marta decided to find shade and wait, hoping the rangers would notice her absence. Then she heard a rustle in the tall grass. Her heart nearly stopped as she saw a massive lion emerging, moving slowly toward her. It was the same lion, the pride leader she had seen near the jeep the day before. On the ground, he looked even more powerful and terrifying. Barely suppressing a scream, Marta dropped to her knees and tried to crawl toward nearby bushes. The lion quickly caught up with her and let out a deep, thunderous growl that made the earth seem to tremble. Marta closed her eyes, certain this was the end. But instead of an attack, she felt something heavy and surprisingly gentle touch her shoulder. Opening her eyes, she saw the lion cautiously placing his enormous paw on her, as if testing whether she was alive. Remembering David's advice, she forced herself to remain completely still. The lion circled her, sniffing, occasionally touching her with his paw. Marta felt his warm breath on her skin and heard her own heartbeat roaring in her ears. Every second felt endless.